Okay, so today I wanted to talk about relationships. Um, I think relationships, in whatever uh, form they take, like whether they're professional or romantic or friendship, that they're important as an aspect of life. I don't think that even need be said. A huge part of our lives are spent in one kind of relationship or another with other people. Um, but as a general rule, first I gotta say, God bless white boys. It's so nice to be able to have a visual aid. Um, but anyway, as a general rule, I think that there's a general theme that can run through really any relationship, whether it be of all the various kinds during our lives. I hope this camera angle's good, by the way, because I can't. I'm like filming it from the opposite side, so this is legible. Like, I can't really see what's going on, so I'm just gonna pray that it's okay. Um, but for that reason, I made this sort of general chart, um, trying to be as generic and as general in the in terms of the words that I included. Um, but I think it's we have to be careful to remember that this is applicable in any kind of relationship, friendship, professional, romantic, whatever. It's just talking about the general give and take of relationships. Um, so there's like three tiers here. There's three levels. Um, there's three levels of understanding, and generally speaking, all relationships fall somewhere on the spectrum. They can be a mix of both. They could be a mix of many. For example, at the very bottom here, I have as kind of a you know scale, misunderstanding to understanding. So bottom is bad, top is good. Um, at the bottom here, we have the two terms. I hope you can read it. Is I use the word taker and taker. So in this relationship dynamic, you have two takers. People that that's the plague. Am I yelling? I feel like I'm yelling. that's that's the malady. That's the ailment when it comes to relationships, is when you have two parties that take and do not reciprocate the deal. Because what is a relationship except a kind of agreement? Um, Even if, like with work, you agree to work for money, but you really don't want to be there. Um, but like, you have two takers. Between them, I've kind of made an illustration of like a jagged red line, meaning that if both are taking from the middle meaning you could say the good operation of the long lastingness of the relationship. If both are taking from this common goal in the middle, then it's bound to fracture because both are taking. Um, I have witnessed during my lifetime, I've heard of many relationships which are built predominantly on this dynamic of two takers. And the reason is that a lot of people look for their own completion in someone else. And I'm talking, I guess, more about romantic relationships in these terms. Um, people look, the fundamental root of the problem that I've noticed during my lifetime is that people look for other people to complete themselves. And then, of course, the other party, the opposite party in the relationship, is also looking to complete themselves. They're looking for something which they're missing inside, which they're yearning for someone else to fulfill. So what you really have, and what I should have probably drawn, is basically I'm literally doing this with my left hand, and it's gonna be horrible because I cannot do anything with my left hand. Basically, if I could give a rough sketch here of two people, I purposely leave out an arm because these two people are missing something. They have a void. They're missing something. And they look to the other person in their relationship to fulfill that for them. This person will make me happy. This person will make me happy. So in this sense is what I mean. They're both takers. They both seek something. They're both in pursuit of something. So inevitably, when this person tries to find something in another incomplete person, they will be dissatisfied because they won't find it, because that person is incomplete and they're a taker. They're seeking to gain. So many relationships I've seen in this dynamic that end in fracture, inevitably. Because you can only take so much from the pot in the middle. You know, if you're playing game of poker, and there's so much in the pot, you know, everybody wins and everyone draws from the pot. It's over because everyone was only looking to take. They were only looking to gain because they themselves were missing something. The second tier here, the second level, is similar to this one, except in this dynamic, there's a giver and a taker. And for whatever reason, like I said, this is a misconception I want to avoid, is that these labels aren't just to apply to one person or the other. People can exchange these. People are more often than not, I feel, both a giver and a taker, depending on the conditions, depending on the circumstances. You can adopt the role of both. So usually, I mean, sometimes it's true, but usually there's not just someone who completely sacrifices for the relationship, 100% only ever gives into the relationship, puts effort forth, and then there's someone who just constantly never provides anything and just takes. That would be an extremely bad. That's the extreme of this. But in this dynamic, you have a giver and a taker rather than two takers. The giver constantly gives. The giver constantly contributes, meaning they're constantly there. This person knows what love is. This person, perhaps, we could imagine as a complete individual. Someone who's content with themselves, someone who's pretty well established in their values, whatever. It doesn't even mean you got your shit together. It means as a person, you're whole. You are authentic. That's the giver. Because from their abundance of themselves, they can give. They can afford that. They're not looking. Then you have the taker who, like the bottom here, has one arm. You know, I don't know if you can. Man, I really hope this is working out. So you have the giver who just constantly contributes to the relationship. They always put the effort forth. in effort to can mean a variety of things. It doesn't just mean like doing the dishes or, you know, effort can also be just being a happy, content person with yourself and not having a constant inner battle that your partner, you look to them to fix. Having your shit together, like financially and stuff like that, is dandy. But you could have your material shit together and not your personal shit together, and it would be the same thing. It doesn't matter. You would just be comfortably miserable with yourself. So anyway, you have the giver and the taker. The giver constantly contributes, the giver constantly tries to make this thing work, and then the taker constantly forwards it to themselves because they themselves are incomplete. This is kind of a leech. I mean, for lack of a better word, it's kind of a leech dynamic here where you have the consumer and the provider. So the third level, two givers. And what I mean really by giver, like I said, what I really mean by that is two complete, God, this is awful. Two complete individuals. And I want to be careful here again. Complete doesn't mean perfect because there is no perfect. Complete just means authentic. It means honest. It means whole. It doesn't mean that you have to have all answers to everything. It doesn't mean you are a perfect person. But it means that you're not, to your best awareness and ability, you're not being this guy who is just ever looking for someone else to complete them. But you're wanting to contribute to the main cause. And for here I drew like a flower or whatever just to show that it grows. You know, that's how it flourishes. That's how a relationship flourishes in very general terms. It's like when everyone puts in their part. These people, these takers don't have parts, so to speak, to put in. They're looking to gain. Love is sacrifice. Love means that from your wholeness, you can give, and the opposite person from their own wholeness can give. And that means not, like I said, it's not that you're perfect, because again, the principle, there is no perfect. That's not the point. But you can have a perfectly understood meaning of love, and your intention is what counts. So in this dynamic, there's the promise of longevity, loyalty, growth. So as a general outline, this is it. Thanks for watching.